Hey everybody, it's Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. Welcome to my channel today. Today's video, it's all about what the CEO of Carnival is saying, what's happening at Holland America, and what's happening with your tax dollars. First of all, the big quote, the CEO of Carnival, Arnold Donald, said, "I don't know when we will sail again." And he is right. Holland America has just canceled a bunch of cruises out of what would have been Alaska repositioning cruises. And now we're hearing the big news. It's being worked on in Congress right now. There are lobbyists in Washington working on your behalf to try to get what is called the Explore America tax credit through the Congress. And oh man, is this a big one. You're going to want to hear all about this. Thank you for following my channel, Traveling with Bruce. All of you out there who are subscribing to my channel, man, oh, I appreciate it. Also, thumbs ups. Thank you very much for those, and all of your comments as well. A bunch of you are following me now on Facebook, the Facebook group page for Traveling with Bruce, and on Instagram. Welcome aboard, all of you who are following us there, and all of you who are supporting my channel by visiting my Redbubble store, the link down below, to pick up your COVID masks, coffee mugs, t-shirts with TWB logos on it. Thank you all very much. Oh, and one more thing, check out the link down below in the description. I have a second YouTube channel. I've just created it, Stock Markets with Bruce. If you want to get the stock market angle as to what the heck is going on out there with your investments and why shares going up and going down, join me for video updates on Stock Markets with Bruce. We'll see you over there real soon. All right, let's get to today's stories. Here's the first story of the day. The CEO, Arnold Donald of Carnival, quoted as saying, "I don't know when we will sail again. Truer words have never been spoken." These are the kind of quotes that cruise line executives really don't make. They don't want to make. Their marketing departments don't want them to say this because it could impede deposits towards future cruises. But the reality is, he is right. He doesn't know when the next cruise is going to happen for Carnival. He doesn't know for any of the brands that Carnival has or any of the cruise lines. What we do know is, and what he said was, that Carnival predicted that they thought they might be sailing again August the 1st by using about 8 ships. And he was pleasantly surprised when the phones were ringing off the hook at the reservation center for Carnival, because a whole bunch of people wanted to book a cruise badly for August the 1st. But here's the reality, folks. Since really March of this year, there have been millions of people who have had their cruises canceled on them all spring and now into the summer. And of course, a lot of these folks took their money back, and a bunch of them took future cruise credits. And they want to use those credits ASAP. And there were a lot of people hoping they could go on a cruise in August or September and get a bit of a summer cruise in. And obviously, Carnival was just overrun with phone calls from desperate people who had been kicked off their cruises because they were canceled. And Carnival was pleasantly shocked at the response. No surprise here, when you tell millions of cruisers that their cruises are canceled, you're going to have several million people try to rebook a cruise. And if you're going to indicate that it might be starting in August, guess what? The phones are going to go crazy. But in reality, the CDC is not letting it happen. And Mr. Donald cannot guarantee that any cruises will be taking place at any time soon. Over on Holland America, which is owned by Carnival, the folks at Holland America have succumbed to the inevitable, and that is that there will not be any repositioning cruises leaving Alaska and going through the Panama Canal to the Caribbean or to Europe, or from Alaska down to, say, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and then over to Hawaii or over to Australia. Why won't there be any repositioning cruises? Because there aren't going to be any cruises this year to Alaska. The Canadian cruise ports are off limits until November the 1st, which is after the last ships sail for Alaska cruises. And so all the cruise lines, Princess, Cunard, Royal Caribbean, everybody has and will cancel all of their cruises in and out of Alaska and repositioning cruises, which usually take place October and November every year. And these ships, we don't know where they're going to go, and we don't know where they're going to sail to next. But the big story actually today is might be cruise related, might not be cruise related. This all depends here. I want to talk to you folks today about what you're going to hear a lot about going forward, something called the Explore America Tax Credit. If you live in the United States, you know, and you've probably started to hear rumors that there's going to be a third stimulation package, economic stimulation package passed by Congress. There are heated and in-depth discussions, negotiations going on right now in the U.S. House of Representatives, the U.S. Senate, and through White House sources. And what is coming out of it is there is a proposed income tax credit equal to up to 50% of a household spending for a trip at least 50 miles away from one's house. So, for example, if a mom and dad have 2 kids, and they live in Chicago, and they're thinking of going on a trip, how about a trip to Disney World in Orlando? If they fly there, for example, and when they get there, they rent a car, they book a hotel room, they buy tickets to Disney World or Universal or SeaWorld, whatever. They buy meals at restaurants. The bottom line is the United States government is possibly going to offer up to $4,000 per household towards the cost of this vacation. In other words, up to 50% of the cost of the vacation. So if the family spends $8,000 on this entire deal, $4,000 would come as a tax credit against income tax payable for that family. 50% of the cost. There are all kinds of lobbyists in Washington right now pushing for this deal like you cannot believe. Disney wants it. Universal wants it. The airlines want it. The car rentals want it. The hoteliers want it. The restaurants want it. They all want it. On top of everything else, buried deep in this stimulus package are other proposals that the travel industry is trying to get passed. The hotels are pushing for a $25,000 tax break per hotel property to offset what they're calling the costs of enhanced cleaning and sanitation standards. That's right, folks. The cost of bleach and towels to clean up the hotel, they want a $25,000 tax break per property for that one. The tourism interests are saying that they want to give tax breaks to corporations that spend money on meals and entertainment. And they want the government to spend above market rates for government travel. You remember the term, let's get rid of the swamp? Folks, it's alive and it's well and it is working overtime while I'm making this video. Additional lobbyists have been hired to persuade Congress to pass another stimulus bill. The parks, hotels, and resorts people, Six Flags, International Association of Venue Managers, which includes the Orange County Convention Center and every convention center in America, are all in on this. The U.S. Travel Association members, which include Disney, Universal, and others, are all in on the pushing to get a deal done and to get big, fat, juicy subsidies for their entities. In Orlando, the unemployment rate right now is 16.2%, mainly made up of workers who work in the tourism trade. Florida law, here's an update. There's a vote coming up this year, some kind of election, and one of the measures to be voted on by Florida voters will be, will the minimum wage in Florida, which is currently $8.56 an hour, could you imagine trying to live on that? The talk is that the minimum wage would be proposed to go up to $10 an hour for this year and then reach $15 an hour 6 years from now, which is like an 85-cent a year raise for 6 years. It'll get to $15 an hour by 2026. The ballot initiative is being opposed, surprise, surprise, by the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association. They are fighting this tooth and nail. They don't want this to go through. They want to keep costs down. In the meantime, behind the scenes, Disney and Universal have already signed contracts with their union members, $15 an hour for this year, already locked in. 8 million jobs have been lost so far in Florida. Only 1.2 million jobs have come back as they've been slowly reopening to come back into business. And the business people want Florida to open wide open. The cruise lines want it to happen. And the question I have is, can the Explore America tax credit possibly be used for cruises? Do you think that a cruise line might be able to convince Congress that if a ship leaves Miami or Fort Lauderdale, Port Canaveral, Tampa, Charleston, Galveston, if a cruise ship leaves America and then heads over to St. Thomas, which is U.S. territory, and goes over to San Juan, Puerto Rico, which is U.S. territory, and makes a quick little stop in Nassau to adhere to the Jones Act and then come back to New York, can that cruise qualify for the Explore America tax credit? In other words, allowing the family to write off the cost to get to the port, either park their car or get a rental car, stay in a hotel, fly down there, whatever they got to do, take the cruise, write it all off, and then fly back home, drive back home, however they get back home. And up to $8,000 can be applied with a 50% tax credit. In other words, you spend $8,000 on a cruise and you get $4,000 back. Can that be done? Can they, quote, slip it in the side door without it catching too much attention in the front door? We're going to find out. These are discussions that are happening as I am recording this. Let me know your thoughts. Should this happen for cruises or just for American tax-paying companies only? There, I've done it. I've rubbed you in on it. Thank you for watching today. Stay warm, stay cool, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll keep you updated, everybody. Bye for now.